Welcome to Sustainable Packaging with Cory Connors. Today's guest is a returning friend of ours, a friend of the community, Mr. Ryan Smith, the founder and CEO of Recyclops. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back. It's great to chat with you again.
It really is. I think you were one of my first 15 or 20 guests. I don't remember how far back it was, but we just did our 200th episode and it's an honor to have you back. So thank you.
Wow, 200. That's big time. But it's good to be here. Feel like we chat more through TikTok comments than IRL. And so it's good to have some real life conversation here.
Definitely. And we'll definitely talk about TikTok and things like that. But let's catch the audience up with what is Recyclops and what are you up to these days?
Yeah, so Recyclops is a business that's built around this idea of sustainability accessibility. So we solve hard to solve problems where access for sustainability initiatives is limited. And so we really look at two different categories where we step in. One is where there's a lack of access because of where you live. The other is a lack of access because of what the material is. So thinking about where you live, if you live in an apartment, there's a good chance you don't have recycling. Most apartments in the United States don't have recycling. Or if
Really?
you, yeah, crazy, right?
I didn't
Apartments,
know that.
and that's my first exposure into this industry was I moved into an apartment that didn't have recycling. And then as I got more and more accustomed, I thought at first I just thought like, man, I moved into a dumpy apartment, which was true. But I learned that it wasn't just my dumpy apartments problem. It was a citywide, then I saw national problem, statewide, national, and then even global problem. Apartments struggle to recycle. And that was my first exposure and where I started this business. But then as I got more into it, I started seeing other problems. And one of the other big areas where we serve is this recycling deserts, which is places that are kind of on the outskirts of urban centers or more rural areas that don't have recycling. And it's not a small portion of the population. We're talking 34 million households.
Wow.
It's like there's 130 million households in the US. And then you add the 16 million or so apartment homes. We're talking 50 million of the 130 just straight up don't have access. It's not that they're choosing not to. It's that where they live, there is no recycling collection. Maybe they can drive it 20 minutes to a drop off or an hour to a drop off, depending on the area. But
Right.
what a pain. And so that's kind of the genesis of our business. And we do a lot of that all over the country. And then the other piece is kind of hard to recycle stuff and doing that either direct to consumer, where we have someone signs up with a subscription, which we call Recyclops Plus, or
Yeah.
we have this other side, which is for brands. We do specialty programs for brands where we pick up all sorts of stuff, either from customers' homes or from warehouses, storefronts, you name it.
Oh,
We
it's an amazing thing that you're doing. And it's a great point that you made about dumpy apartments. Oftentimes, what I'm hearing in the industry is that sustainability is a luxury.
yeah.
And it's an unfortunate point but it's something that has to be made because I need people to hear that if they have recycling available, they should feel honored and privileged, and they should take advantage of it to the full extent of their capabilities. And if they don't have it available to them, they should reach out to a company like Recyclops to learn how they could possibly incorporate something additional into their society.
Yeah, well, I that's something that's really struck me about this is that recycling access is discriminatory, and that it's something that needs to be democratized because you shouldn't have less access to recycling as a whole based on the color of your skin or
Right.
based on your socioeconomic status, based on the fact that you live in a more rural setting. Like that shouldn't suddenly make you not eligible to recycle. Like that feels crazy
It
to me.
does.
So we've worked hard to fight that.
That's why I was so excited to have you on again. I think what you're doing is you're leveling the playing field and you're saying, hey, this should be equal for all of us. And so good for you and your team.
I appreciate that.
So let's talk about Recyclops Plus. This is something very near and dear to my heart. I'm very interested in the service model. And I have a story for you for our service here locally that was similar, but I'd love to hear about it if you could tell us.
Yeah, so Recyclops Plus is focused on hard to recycle materials. Right now, our big focus materials are batteries, light bulbs, clothing,
Yeah.
things like
PET trays.
Get clamshell containers, so PET trays. So like what your tomatoes come in or your berries come in, that styrofoam, those are all parts of this service. And it's just this type of stuff that you feel that should be recycled, and some of it more problematic than others, like batteries. Batteries can cause all sorts of problems when you put them in the waste stream. And in many areas, and I don't know if there's national laws about it, but in many areas it's illegal. But like, there's no solutions. What are you supposed to do? Hold on to them forever? And so we basically have a subscription. You sign up, you pay, right now in most areas, it's $15 a month. And you can add ons like styrofoam, a few extra bucks because it's so bulky and challenging. And you pay that, and then we come by your home, pick it straight up from your doorstep every other week. And it's been, right now, we're just doing this in the greater Salt Lake City metro where I'm based. And I'm a personal customer, which is great. I've greatly appreciated the service personally. But the intent is to expand it much beyond that. The problem is broad, and we're good at servicing customers everywhere. We don't need to just make this work in the biggest cities in the world or the greenest cities around the world. We can do this in places that it may be hard for others to do it, because we're pretty good at that. We're good at the hard stuff. So
that's awesome. Let's talk about the feedback you've gotten from your customers, some of the first movers who maybe are just thrilled to be a part of it. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, people are excited. The people who, and a lot of these people, they are passionate and they recognize the problem before. Many people even listening to this podcast may not realize, oh shoot, I didn't know I couldn't put my plastic bags in my recycling. Right? I didn't know styrofoam, it has the symbol on it. Why can't I put it in there? Or the PET clamshell containers, trays. What about those? But the people who have stumbled upon that information, have known that, they are so excited because they feel bad. I know that, like, that's how I started Recyclops. Was I literally remember the moment where I had this idea, and it was when I moved into an apartment that didn't have recycling. I was a student, and I bought a bottle of soda from a vending machine, and I went and finished it on my way home, went to go put it in the recycling. When I got to my apartment, it was brand new there. It's like, oh, no one bought a blue bin yet. Sweet, I'll go put it in the recycling dumpster out. And there was none. And I didn't know what to do. And throwing it away made me feel guilty.
Yeah.
And I just felt bad. And that's the way I feel about clamshell containers throwing away. And I know that I'm not alone with that, or these plastic bags. But without convenient solutions, it's really hard. And that's what we've tried to do, is create something convenient. And that's what others have done in the industry. Ridwell has absolutely been dominant in the Pacific Northwest and just really paved the way for this, and really impressed with what they've done, and think that the impact that they're having in the world is incredible, and love that. And we look at this, I'm a big believer that we're all in this together, that this isn't like Recyclops versus anyone. It's Recyclops with everyone, that we have problems to solve here, and there's plenty of opportunity for all of us to work together and solve problems better. And we don't need to go, and we're not enemies. So even if we offer similar services in different markets.
I agree. Very important point that you're making, because that's the kind of feeling I get in the world of recycling, is a collaboration. Like, I had a small recycler here called Green Rhino reach out to me and say, hey, can you help us connect us with other recycling companies? And I said, yeah, of course. I'd never heard of them. And they saw one of my podcasts. And so I'm not going to make any profit out of that meeting, but I'm excited to introduce them to other people, because they will recycle more products. And this is the kind of thing that is so valuable. But I think that leads into that story about Recyclops, or Ridwell. We had them here locally just outside of Portland, Oregon. We were so excited to be a part of it, like you said, and recycling clamshells and flexible films and styrofoam and all kinds of things. Light bulbs, batteries, the whole shooting match. And then all of a sudden they called and said, we can't serve your area anymore. He said, what happened? Oh, the municipality shut us down because they didn't go through the right channels, essentially. And so after I understood that, it made sense. But I also thought to myself, why don't they just let them keep going until there's what we have now, which is called Recycling Plus, which is a waste management product. And it's a similar thought process. It's been a little more difficult to use, and you don't have the cool flip top lid box. But why do you think it was so important to the municipality to shut it down?
Yeah, I'm really frustrated when I see things like that because, and I understand at the same time, but it. I feel like we were talking a minute ago about how we're all in this together, and this kind of idea of an abundance mentality versus a scarcity mentality,
Mhm.
and it's a scarcity mentality that shuts those things down.
Yep.
And it's, as I see it and as I understand it, it's people like the existing service providers, waste management, and in this case, going in and saying, "Hey, wait a minute, this is our turf.
Right.
You can't do this because it's our turf." And Rid saying, "Hey, you weren't doing it. People want
Right.
this. Keep it innovated." And waste management says, "Doesn't matter. We own this," which I struggle with because, okay, who owns the Amazon return? You
Right.
something broken that you get from Amazon and you send it back. Is that, and Amazon's not going to be able to fix it. It's going to go, they're going to have to deal with disposal or something. And there's cases where that they will fix it, whatever. But in either case, like, that's waste that's being, we're accepting that being picked up from a curb because it has a label on it, and FedEx or Amazon or whoever picks it up.
Yeah.
Or there's mail back batteries. You can do a subscription and get a bucket and you fill it with batteries and mail it, and no one's going crazy.
Right.
But I think Ridwell had a little bit too much success for other stakeholders' likings, and that's that. I guess that's what happens. And you hear, when I entered this space, I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, the mob," or "Oh, it's a dirty business," or this or that. I hear it all the time still, a lot less than I used to. But then you see stuff like this and you're like, man, that is dirty business.
Yeah.
Like, that's dirty business. Like, shame on them. And at the same time, it's hard to argue. They had a contract.
Yeah.
Their contract had that. So, like, is it shame on them, or is it like, no, they're a business and they're in business to make money? And they said, hey, if Ridwell can do it, we can do it. We put in the probably hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars into winning this bid for this city.
Mhm.
And we have
Very
the
good point.
which hard to argue with it, even though I don't fully agree. I can see that side. And so I think that's where you start to look at other ways to solve this. And that ways that you do this, or one, you either go and get permission. You say, okay, cool. Well, I guess we have to get permission.
Right.
Or you make sure that you are up to date on the city code and on the contracts. You can do a public information request. Any contract the city has, you can look at it and see, are we going to cause problems here? Is this gonna be an issue? Or the other way, and you see people like TerraCycle doing this, which I think is a great idea, where they're actually going and partnering with the waste haulers directly. In
Yeah.
some cases, they've made a couple announcements recently about things like that I've read, and that's another way to go and tackle this. And I think that you run into challenges like this and you don't give up. You find creative solutions to solve it. And I applaud anyone who's doing that, and I'm sure confident Rid doing that.
Yeah.
But I see others doing it as well.
I think it's a lesson, and you're right. It was, whoa, what are these guys doing? They're everywhere all of a sudden, and it's because there's this demand for, especially in the Northwest. I mean, I've grown up with green living, environmentally friendly this, green that, compostable this, recyclable that. We were the first state to have the bottle drop program, and this kind of thing is important here in the Northwest, and I think that's why everyone is so excited about Ridwell. But then you're exactly right. Then the local hauler says, "Wait, that's my stuff, man." Like, but you know, I wish it would have been handled differently. Like, and by Ridwell originally. I wish Ridwell could have done what you and Waste and TerraCycle are doing, and just saying, "Hey, let's make sure we can do this first, and let's make sure it's appropriate and legal." And even in your and in TerraCycle's point of view, you're helping the local community in a great way. So, and so is Ridwell. They just didn't go about it the right way, which is super frustrating.
Yeah, well, and I hope that and part of it is you live and you learn, and you don't know. I've I have done, we do rural recycling all over the country, and I've entered cities without talking to the government. I've done it. So
Yeah.
I can't fault Ridwell at all, because I've done the same thing many more times than they have,
Yeah.
frankly. We're just in more geographies, and you learn, you live and you learn. And we now talk to the local government, or like in the case of Recyclops Plus, we're touching a lot of municipalities in the area.
Mm,
One of the things we did, I'm on the board of the Recycling Coalition of Utah, and I'm on the
smart.
board with Waste Management,
That helps.
with Republic Services, and with the local player Ace Disposal, which are the three players that have all the municipal contracts that where Recyclops Plus exists. And so I, from the very beginning, said, hey, we should partner. Let's do this. And they said, go on your own, do it on your own. And I said, sweet. But, you know, it's not an explicit thumbs up from them necessarily,
Right.
but they can always come back and try and fight things. And in some cases, who knows what the future holds. And I think that we're safe. I think that we've had the conversations we need to have, and we've built those relationships. And I know their local leadership quite well in every case, and have forged those relationships so that we can work together and help each other.
And that's exactly the way to look at it. My thought is that taking this material out of potentially the blue bin is the best thing possible for the local MRFs, because you're taking that step of sorting in advance. And the MRFs that I've talked to have all been very upset by flexible films and soft plastics, because it gets in the gears and it ruins the equipment. So if Recyclops Plus comes by and takes that out of the local area, I would think they would just be more profitable as a whole. And then you're more profitable because you have a clean source of raw material that can be turned into Trex decking or other materials, possibly low density polyethylene films again in the future, depending on how you recycle it. But to me, that's the mindset that I think that needs to be adopted by the haulers is, hey, let's get this stuff out of the system so we don't have to deal with it. Right?
Oh, completely. Well, it's so funny because when I started in this space 10 years ago, I've been in the recycling space for 10 years this summer. And one of the early things I did was I reached out to a local hauler in a new community we launched. And I said, oh, this is great. We're going to save them money. Everything. And we're talking regular plastic bottles, stuff that doesn't compact well in their trucks, that takes up space, has lots of air, all this. I'm like, man, this is going to be great. So I reach out to him to say, hey, can we partner? Can you help spread the word about this? And I just got like effed out. Like literally they like screamed F-bombs at me. And I was like, what is happening? Like I got yelled at. And I thought, what? It just blew my mind. And I learned, I had several experiences like that. And I learned, well, it doesn't matter if it does save them money. It doesn't matter if it does this. There's a very territorial aspect here.
Oh, yeah.
And it is real. And I have nothing but respect for Ridwell and think nothing but, frankly, good things about them. I am hopeful that you will take the lessons learned here and be able to land on their feet and continue to thrive, because man, we need what they do.
Yeah. Well,
and we what we do, and we need what TerraCycle does, and we need what whoever else is out there.
you're all filling a niche, and I think it's awesome to see. And I can't wait till 5-10 years from now when it's all kind of sorted out and we see who does what. And I think it's an exciting time in the world of sustainability. What's the main product that you get for Recycle Plus or Recyclops Plus?
Yeah, more than anything, plastic film.
Yeah.
Plastic film. So flexible plastic film, that's number one for sure. And then probably number two would be the clamshell containers. It's funny because clamshells it's an add-on. You have to pay an extra $1 to participate in it. It's $1.
Sure.
So you got to have a lot of participation. But even with it being an add-on to the service, it's one of our most used or most seen products there. So a lot of that. Textile, batteries, and light bulbs. You just get them sometimes when you get clothes, you get them.
Yeah.
Light bulbs and batteries, you get a little bit here, a little bit there.
That's awesome. Well, and I went to a local MRF here called Far West Recycling, and
Yeah.
they were Part of the local new changes here in Oregon are you can recycle batteries with your glass. You put a bag inside your glass bin because that's separated here. And they literally were going through and they were putting tape on the little circle batteries, the little lithium batteries. And he said, I said, why are they putting tape on those? And he said, if we don't, and they get impacted, they'll blow up and start a fire. I said, what? He said, that's why we want them in the glass bin and not in your recycle bin so bad. Or in your in the waste stream, because they have started, I don't know how many fires in dump trucks.
Oh yeah, anyone who has had much experience with those dump trucks, those garbage trucks, or with MRF, with any sort of processing facility, has experienced a fire. Yeah. We generally use the gig economy, or we have local operators who have franchises who do collection with smaller vehicles, but we have a couple garbage trucks that we've inherited through a small acquisition. And
oh, cool.
In a previous life, early in the days of Recyclops, we did use garbage trucks.
Oh, wow.
And I have had, even though I don't have that much experience with it, I've had multiple garbage truck fires. And
amazing.
Batteries, lithium batteries are the number one culprit, because they're
so for people listening, can you describe those to us so we don't put them in the garbage bin?
Yeah. So the most common place that you're going to have a lithium battery is actually in electronics. So things like your cell phone.
Yeah.
And if you've ever, I remember in the olden days, a decade ago, when you could actually see phone batteries, the little square things, any sort of battery that looks like that, or even like the batteries that are for like an electric drill, those are often lithium. And so that's really kind of the ones to watch out for most often, is things like that. So really electronics, keep your electronics, your laptop, your phone. You shouldn't put batteries in your recycling. I mean, unless your city has rules that says you can, like, but which there are some cities around the country that do.
Yeah.
But follow those rules. If they have rules about if you are allowed to put batteries in, there may be a rule that you have to tape the ends of lithium batteries. It doesn't matter for like alkaline batteries, like the normal, like AAA, AA. You don't have to tape the ends. Those don't. Right. Same issues. But yeah, those lithium ones, man, it's crazy. I just saw a video yesterday, actually, of a lithium battery in a laundromat, in a dryer.
Wow.
Left in a pocket, and it like blew up the entire machine and like blew up the wall. Like
they're
like bombs. Like, it's crazy.
And that's no joke. This is serious stuff that we need to educate the consumers on, that are trying to do the right thing. I interviewed Michelle from, what are they called now? Battery something or other. They're a recycling company, and for batteries only.
Yeah.
And she said they break them down and they turn the components back into either batteries or vitamins, which I thought was amazing. Like, what? She's like, they're full of iron and all the supplements that we need in our bodies. I'm like, that's crazy. So
it's crazy. So, can you imagine just eating the battery? No.
Don't do that. Kids, don't listen to Ryan. He's kidding.
So don't do that. That's scary stuff. But yeah, that's crazy. And that's part of this, like, this creativity.
Yeah.
Like, that was someone's idea, right? That wasn't like the default. The default was more like, hey, can we turn some of this back into a battery? But they said, hey, we have some of these materials that are left. What do we do with these? Right. And found good outlets for it. And like, that's how we make progress in this industry, is we build off of each other's ideas, we collaborate, and we think outside the box.
That's right. Well, thank you, sir. This has been amazing. How do people get in touch with you?
Yeah, if anyone wants to reach out, you can always reach out, Ryan@Recyclops.com. And yeah, we do residential programs. We're opening franchises all over the country, both for regular recycling or for specialty, like programs like Recyclops Plus. We work with the brands we do everything from dirty diaper pickup from doorsteps to solar panel recycling from warehouses, you name it.
Wow.
And Ryan@Recyclops.com. Find me on LinkedIn, Ryan Smith Recyclops. And Recyclops.com is the website. That's really where you'll want to go to learn more about us and to look at opportunities. And I'm always happy to connect with people personally and really passionate about what we're doing and what's happening in this industry.
What kind of person would need, what would a person need to sign up for a franchise?
Yeah, this is something I love about our franchises.
Yeah.
But most, if you're opening a Chick-fil-A or a McDonald's or whatever, you're needing to invest a significant amount of capital, both in real estate and in the franchise fee. Franchise fees are 40, 50, whatever, $1,000.
Yeah.
The way that we do it is we charge. So if you're taking on it right today, and this is subject to change, we're adapting and whatever as time goes on. But today, if you are opening up a brand new area where there's no customers, anything, then we actually don't charge an upfront franchise fee. We charge
Wow.
the royalty fee as you go, and you go on, and we don't have the smallest royalty in the business for when it comes to franchises, but we're basically trying to lower that barrier to entry, make it easy for someone to get started. And you can do well. I mean, someone can easily make six figures doing this. These franchises aren't going to make you a millionaire, probably. I mean, maybe you could, I don't know, never say never, but it's more like a good opportunity to kind of be your own boss and create something. And we manage the back end and really help you get started. And it's a good fit. We have a bunch of franchises all over the country, and we didn't always do it. It's been something we started doing last year, and it's worked fantastically well for us, for our customers, and for the franchisees. So definitely want to do more of it.
It's amazing. I think with the onset of extended producer responsibility and these laws changing for higher post-consumer recycled material, these recycled plastics especially are going to have extreme value eventually. I think so. It sounds like the right time to get into the recycling business is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, we've definitely, it's not shrinking.
Yeah.
It is a growing business, and whether you invest in growth or not, it just comes to you, and
Right.
it's exciting. And then if you invest in it, then it really comes. So yeah, it's been fun.
Well, that's awesome. If you're listening and you're interested and you sign up, let me know, because I'd love to do a podcast with you about your story, about how you grew a Recyclops location. That would be amazing for a podcast. So, well, thank you, Ryan. Really appreciate this, and looking forward to episode 3 someday.
Yeah, let's do it. Thanks,
All
Cory.
right. Thank you.